Hello, lovely people. Welcome to my kitchen. First video from here. I was just about to make some watermelon juice here in the juicer, and I thought I'd use the time to make a video about how to even start a life transformation, a health transformation. How did I get started? And the funny thing is, now that I reflected on it, what happened to me, with me over the last 10 years, I really understood that I kind of accidentally started a life transformation. But what got me rolling was the food that I was eating and making a change in my diet. And afterwards came more depth and more practices, and with yoga, meditation, fasting, but really changing my diet to a plant-based diet was the first major thing that started to get things rolling. And then I started to learn more about diet, about foods, about nutrition, about detoxification. And then I had to go for many, many years. But now I'm at a point where I figured so many things out. I'm still figuring out more things always, but I'm at a point now where I realize I've gone such a big path of transformation, and my days, I notice that I'm asking myself, what am I going to do now with this? What am I going to do with feeling great, with being happy, with having everything I need in life? And it really leaves me at like, well, now it's time for me to share and to help others make this transformation, start this transformation. So this is just a quick reminder video that if you really want to change something about your life, looking at what you're putting into your body is by far, I would say, the most important thing. Or let's even say almost the easiest thing to start really noticing change. Because you can work on yourself also spiritually, emotionally, and still find great improvements. Or you can work with a therapist, things like that. People have all kinds of ways working on themselves, and it can all create change within yourself. But I think personally, you make it easier for yourself if you are looking first at what you're putting into your body on a daily basis. Because I don't know, you might go to a therapy session for, well, once a week or something, and then you might have some realizations, or you figure some stuff out, and or you release some emotion. But that's like once a week. The thing why food is so important to look at is because it's a daily thing for most people. I mean, pretty much almost everyone eats every day. So it has an impact on your system every day. And what you put into your body, because there's so many things nowadays that contain so many chemicals, neurotoxins, so many processed foods. It's really, I've experimented with it a lot in the last years. Like, don't get me wrong, I have not eaten a fully raw diet in the last 10 years. I have here and there, always from time to time. I use food more as a tool. On my path, it's become a tool. Like, staying away from food has its times where I'm fasting. Going on lighter food has its times where I'm just eating fruit. But also eating a little bit heavier foods sometimes had its time and place. Let's see if this is loud. It's not fairly loud. Oh, not that crazy. So everything had its time and place sometimes. I pretty early on put a lot of trust into life itself, that it will naturally guide me through things, and that I don't have to force myself to stick to any particular diet. There comes the beautiful juice. I don't have to force myself, let's put this out for a second, to stick to any particular diet, because I had made experiences. I've tried around with raw food, with like fruit diet for over a year. I've done 30-day juice cleanses. I've done dry fasting for days. That I built so much trust that I can always return to these techniques that I've used, because now I start to see food as a tool for my life progress, spiritual process, whatever. And seeing it like that, I wasn't scared if there was things coming up that had me craving processed foods or heavier foods, because I kind of knew already, eventually, if I stay on my path and I stay also present and conscious, observing what's happening within me when these cravings or something come up, naturally I will go towards a lighter and lighter diet. And this is exactly what is still constantly happening, that naturally my system wants to go to less and less food, even in a sense, and less dense food. That's why I drink a lot of juice or eat a lot of fruits. Now it's like 5 p.m. or something. I haven't had any food or water or anything so far today. I woke up pretty late, and I don't even feel hungry or thirsty right now. But I felt like at least already juicing my watermelon right now, because it was already cut up, so it needs to be juiced, and then I can drink it in the evening or whatnot. Have some nice honeydew melon here too. These ones I don't like to juice, because if they're good, this one smells sweet, then they're really nice and sweet, and they're soft and juicy, and they're nice to just eat like that. And then always get some oranges, and of course lemons. Always lemons. Probably gonna put some lemon juice in the watermelon juice. But yeah, where were we? I had confidence that naturally, if I keep observing, but I needed to do certain experience. I needed to have certain experiences to have the awareness and consciousness to be able to observe of everything that is happening. But yeah, back to topic. What can you do? What can you do if you want to start changing something about your life, if you want to improve your life? Because overall, at the end of the day, we are all looking to experience less negative emotion, less struggle, less hard times. And we want, like, we're probably not getting rid of all the struggle, or it's always going to be certain challenge in life, but how you deal with challenge, how it makes you feel within you, that's determined by you. And the more you work on yourself, the more you can respond to certain life challenges in a more positive way. And yeah, I think everyone hopes for their days just to be pleasant, fun, even exciting, but at the minimum, pleasant. Like, we want to have as minimal unpleasant days where we're feeling like shit and depressed or this and that. And we want to have more days where we're like, right now for me, I can't remember the last day I felt very like depressed or something. Doesn't really happen. Sometimes my nervous system is just out of whack. It's a bit overstimulated. I worked too much or something, or I was out too much with too many people, and just there was too much information, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed. And then need 1 or 2 days, a little bit more quiet for myself sometime, and then my nervous system calms down again, and I'm good to go. But I used to have a lot of phases like these loops and everything where I was like going on an app and working on something and being excited and then suddenly something happens and whacks me in the face and I drop down again to the bottom and feel like shit and life makes no sense and has no meaning and like all of these loops and cycles, until I really started deciding on prioritizing myself and my health and my energy and making that my main focus and not what I'm working or other people or achieving something, but just like how I'm feeling, how well I am, how much I'm sleeping, how much I'm meditating. When I made these things more priority of like, okay, if I don't feel so great, then I need to prioritize fixing my system, fixing my energy. That started making a big change. If I didn't try to only think about solving business problems, solving money problems, how to solve them, this and that, but like taking a step back and okay, there's these problems in business, there's these challenges in business and life and relationship and family, and then there's me. And if I'm not in great energy, then I'm going to be overwhelmed with all these challenges and I'm not going to be able to tackle them in a good, positive, conscious way. So, number one tip, if you want to improve something about yourself, well, put priority on your own system, upgrading that instead of thinking, oh my God, I have so many problems right now at work, or I feel terrible at work, I feel unfulfilled at work, or I feel, or I'm not making enough money, or this and that. No matter where you are, you can always change some things. You cannot change something about it immediately. And then we get into these cycles of like, oh, I have money problems, I need to figure it out. If I make more money in the future, then I'll be happy with this. Or if I find a better job in the future, then I'll be more happy. But when you really start to realize that no matter what the situation is right now, because even years later, after I first started changing my diet and having some moments where I was feeling really great and excited about life and everything, later on I had moments again, many years later, even when I already knew how to like be healthy and stuff, where I kind of lost myself and like trying to figure out, like I said, these financial things, family things, relationship things, trying to figure them out by thinking and completely missing the point, like disregarding my own system, my own health. And I'm in completely different circumstances now compared to like 10 years ago when I started. But it doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. I have more money now. I have more I have more opportunity in a sense. I have more freedoms in a sense than 10 years ago, where I was just like a college student. I just dropped out and I had barely any money. And even back then, barely any money, just dropped out. I was able to focus on my system, take care of my system when I found out how to do it. And things started improving. in my life. And then I jumped into other things in life, and suddenly I stopped, or I lost track of myself, of my own system, of my own energy. And for a while, I just let things go and experience different things until I realized again, well, my life's not feeling better now, even though I have more things, or I have things that I wished for, that I dreamed of maybe, and working my own business or something. But I wasn't feeling good then, because I disregarded my own health, my own vibration, my system. So yeah, no matter where you are, you can always start with yourself. And to get started, to finish this video, my one tip is prioritize some fruits. You don't have to go on all out crazy changes. I did that a little bit too much, to be honest, in the past, but for me it kind of worked and was good in a sense sometimes, but it's not going to work for everyone. So that's why I always tell people, focus on fruit, like make fruit something that you have an awareness for, that if you go grocery shopping, you're looking actively for fruit, you're thinking of like, I want to do something for my system, what can I do? It's summer right now, get melons. Melons are amazing, you don't have to juice them. I didn't have juicers 10 years ago, I didn't have expensive blenders 10 years ago, and I still made it work. You can just, well, eat the watermelon, eat this melon. You can get a cheap blender and blend the watermelon and then strain it through a bag or through a fine sieve if you want to have the juice. I made a 30-day juice fast on just grapes without a juicer, just with a blender, cheap one, and I just blended the grapes and strained them. I did that for 30 days. So it doesn't matter, if you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. 10 years ago, I thought like, oh man, these raw food people, they have juicers and the blenders and they can make so amazing things. Now I have all these stuff, I barely even use it. Because I make a juice here and there. Sometimes I just squeeze the oranges by hand. It's easier, no washing up, or just eat some fruit. Yeah, but raw foods, try to just increase the amount of fresh foods that you're eating, things that are still like alive, that have a lot of water content. Water is super important. If you're not getting as much fruit or something, then at least get a lot of water. Squeeze lemons. You can pretty much always get lemons anywhere you are. Squeeze a lot of lemon juice into your water, and at least prioritize hydration. Makes a big difference. And otherwise, I'm working on stuff because, as you might have seen, I have a restaurant with all this health food that we're making. And we're making stuff like this, for example. This is a bread. I know a lot of people like bread. This is an option that's like basically one ingredient. We just use whole buckwheat and turn that through natural fermentation into a really good tasting bread. So I'm creating options for people to have things that are easier to digest, lighter, more nutritious, to get started on like some dietary transformation. I'm working on that right now, creating content for a book and then video platforms and stuff like that. That's still a little bit in the future, but I'm working on it. There's going to be some amazing recipes from my restaurant that I'm running with my partner. If you start making these at home, they're going to totally change your life because they taste amazing and they're just made from whole foods. Stay tuned for that. I'm not going to spoil too much, but yes, there will be more hands-on thing for you to learn to create some great food that can get you started on transformation easier, because jumping into just fruits like how I did it 10 years ago is very difficult for most people, and starting with some foods that are still more similar to what we're used to eating like we're making this bread, but we're also having like incredible wraps made from buckwheat and falafel and stuff like that, all just made from like whole ingredients, nothing from a package, no processing. That's already much better for your system than all this processed food. So you want to change something, try to go less into the sections where things are packaged and you need this the processed foods, and go more unprocessed. Maybe raw is amazing. Raw's the best you can do because it's still like full of aliveness and enzymes and water. But if you can't eat like that much raw, you don't find much good fruit or something, at least veggies, pumpkins, sweet potatoes or something, as whole foods as possible. Your diet has such an incredible impact. I've noticed it so many times. I've eaten processed foods and literally a day after, I feel my brain chemistry changing, my thoughts changing to like more negative thoughts, to more heavy thoughts. This, if you're not conscious enough about certain things, this is so crazy how foods, especially processed foods, can play with your system and mess everything up. When you become more conscious and a little bit more clean, nowadays, if I eat something less clean, it doesn't throw me off completely because I also do a lot of work through meditation. But if you do it too much, it can really get your system very, very, very low vibration. So very important to be aware of the impact of what you put into your mouth, into your body on a daily basis. Don't just disregard it as like, oh, well, it's just food or something, or well, everyone has to eat. No, it makes a huge difference for if you want to be happy, light, feel great, and achieve, or not even achieve, but fulfill your dreams or something, live. But like I said, even if you get to live some of your dreams, if you feel shit physically, emotionally or something, because you're not treating your body well, then even some of these things that you thought are like your dream and you want to have in your life, you might not even be able to really enjoy them if, yeah, your system is just not in shape. So I wish you a wonderful day. I'm gonna get juicing this watermelon. I left this out. No, this was too loud. So hope you have a great day. And if you have any questions, ask me down below. I'm gonna start working with people also one-on-one at some point, or maybe in group coaching programs. I'm just figuring it out right now, actually. At the moment is the time where I'm transitioning to and transforming something again also. And I'm stepping more into working with people and helping others go through transformation and guiding people, because I would have loved to have someone like myself at my side, to be honest. I was often wishing and looking for someone to guide me through tough times, challenges in the last 10 years. Never found someone who I really trusted, could relate to, who was the right fit. For some reason, I was supposed to go through things mostly by myself, but that's okay. I figured it out somehow, but maybe I can be of help to others and make it easier for them to go through things also faster, because I figured it took me a long time, to be honest. These 10 years was quite a long time to go through these things that I went through and to process all of these things. It could have been faster if someone would have like sometimes pushed me into the right direction, because I was definitely running a bit in circles sometimes about certain topics or challenges in my life, and not making, or I needed to go a couple of rounds until I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? So yeah, that's kind of why I'm going out there. I hope I can be a person that helps others to get through things a little bit more easy with someone at your side and a little bit faster. All right, I'll see you soon.